Greetings, Sylph Hunter here, and welcome to Together We Are, Friday Tuesdays. Today I would like to talk about eating for what makes you feel physically good versus eating for what makes you feel psychologically good, and discuss what kind of percentage of each goes into healthy, normal eating, and try to solicit opinions on this topic as well. A few days ago, I just had this epiphany that for me, psychological health made a much greater impact on my quality of life than physical health. Therefore, I should eat in a way that maximizes feeling good rather than feeling good psychologically rather than a way that maximizes physical health. So this is kind of how I ate when I was a kid. Now, when I was a kid, I did binge eat, but I ate what I wanted. I gave into cravings. Skittles to me were like Mrs. Pac-Man power pellets. They could motivate me to do anything. Big bag of Skittles and I could plow through my homework, or I could code for hours or days on end. It was great. And yes, I did get Skittle hangovers, and they made me feel awful the next day, and they destroyed my teeth, but to me, it was a worthwhile trade-off because of the way they made me feel when I was able to respond to that craving rather than having to tell myself no. And when I did start restricting, I got very, very conscious of what foods were bad for me and what foods had negative health effects on me, and this whole thing about me being gluten sensitive, and because I am gluten sensitive, and not being able to eat high sugar content foods anymore because I don't have any enamel on my teeth left, and wanting to, or not wanting to, but like believing that it's best for my health if I go gluten-free, or I go vegan, or I go raw, or I eat more naturally and more healthfully. A few days ago, I was just like, you know what? Like I said at the beginning of this video, my mind is so much sicker than my body, and really my psychological health is what has a big impact on my quality of life, rather than my physical health. So, yeah, in order to improve the quality of my life, I should basically eat in a way that maximizes my happiness. So I went that day and got a huge bag of pretzels. Gluten sensitivity be damned. I love pretzels, and I was going to eat a shitload of them. And, an energy drink that was full of all of these processes and chemicals, and had pizza for dinner, even though, my brain was like, well, you shouldn't have pizza because you've been having pizza too often lately. You should have something healthy, like salad instead, to detox your body from all the pizza that you had last week, etc., etc., etc. But I was just like, feeling awesome is my top priority up here, not necessarily down here, because up here is more important. And you may be listening to this and you think, well, that sounds just like how a fat person lives, how a person who has maybe not an eating disorder, but, you know, a lifelong struggle with obesity thinks like, well, screw health, I'm going to eat what makes me feel happy and what makes me feel good in my head. And so they just eat whatever they feel like and they put on tons of weight. And some of you might also be thinking, well, you know, prioritizing my psychological health over my physical health in my eating patterns is eating disordered, because that's, I mean, what we all did. We ate in a way that made us feel better psychologically, prioritizing that over the health of our body. But others may be listening and be like, well, you know, that is how a normal person eats, and that, well, that's not how a normal person eats, but that's how a person who has, you know, not a care in the world about health and weight loss and everything, and just wants to be carefree and just doesn't want to think about food when they're not eating it, eats. So that's a good thing for recovery, right? So should recovery be 100% about what your body wants rather than what your mind wants? Or is that just kind of the definition of orthorexia? And is that just another disorder? And then what kind of the safe percentage of what makes you feel good up here to incorporate into planning your diet? You know, should you ever respond to a craving if you're trying to recover from an eating disorder, or will responding to your cravings lead you on a slippery slope back to bulimia or compulsive overeating? I'm not sure, and that's what I'm trying to figure out right now, kind of self-experimentally. So I'd really like to hear your opinions on this topic. So please leave them in comments. Please, let's start a dialogue. That's it for now, and I will see you next time I make a video.